Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry, I should keep my face towards the mic, shouldn't I? So tonight we are discussing Skinfluenced, and we are looking at products, brands, and tools that help us have the most amazing, healthiest skin. So is everybody in this room? Have you been here all day already? Have you had a good time? Yes. Have you been to the shopping area downstairs? Yes. That's what I like to hear. Brilliant. So my name is Dija Ayodele. I am someone who wears a lot of hats. I am a skincare specialist. I am the founder of the award-winning platform, The Black Skin Directory. I am also the author of the best-selling book, Black Skin, the Definitive Skincare Guide. Thank you. And we have a heavyweight panel tonight. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, but I'm just going to tell you very quickly who we have on the panel. So we have Sabrina Elba from Sable Labs. We have beauty lovers and content creators, lifestyle content creators, Estare, and we also have Janet. We have cosmetic formulator and skincare expert Evie Samuel on the panel tonight as well. We've also got Dr. Kemi Fab, who is all around everything skincare, and we've got Noelly Michoux from 456 Skin as well. So it's a heavyweight panel tonight. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I know that there's going to be loads of questions from the audience, which is fantastic. Keep hold of your questions. I'm going to make sure we have lots of time for you to ask your questions to the panel as well. But that said, I also know that we only have an hour, and it goes by so quickly. So I'm going to go straight into it, ladies. So very quickly, I'll start with you, Sabrina, just because you're right here. Introduce yourself to our audience, and I'm going to ask you the question, are you a skincare minimalist or are you a maximalist? Tell us a bit about you and your skincare, but you only have 60 seconds.
Don't ask a Canadian to speak in 60 seconds. We just talk a lot. But we're always smiling when we're talking. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I just want to take a quick second to say thank you so much for coming. I'm so humbled to be on a panel with such amazing people. Some of them I know and love. And I feel really good about being here today because I've had the best conversations with everyone here. My name is Sabrina Elba. I am the co-founder of a brand called Sable Labs, an award-winning melanin-inclusive skincare. I can tell you a little bit about that later. Right now, I got to get to the question. I'm running out of time.
For sure.
I am a skincare minimalist. And it's funny that you asked this, because I was having a conversation with Samira, who I saw her walk in, and there's like a couple videos of me on YouTube back in the day when I used to use 1,000 things. And funny enough, it was the time that I hated my skin the most. And one of the reasons I started the brand was because I didn't feel like there was anything out there for me. I was just stripping my skin barrier again and again with acids and so many actives. I thought I was a chemist. You're the chemist. I was taking glycolic and everything and just, abusing my skin. So now I really believe in consistent, efficient skincare routines. Don't let single ingredient formulations fool you. Everything can be combined by your chemist at the inclusions that are safe for our skin. And I think it's important to know that now.
Brilliant. I mean, we're going to get onto formulations as well. So I'll be coming over to you, Evie, for that. But Esther, tell us a little bit about yourself and whether you are a maximalist, are you doing it all, or are you just keeping it quite low-key?
Hi, my name is Esther. I am a digital content, travel, lifestyle, fashion creator, and I'm also a mother to a very handsome 15-year-old. I am a skincare minimalist. Right up until maybe like last year or the year before, I was, like yourself, Sabrina, doing the absolute maximalist, but I've stripped it back again, and I have my 3 staples, and they're working perfectly.
Music to my ears. Beautiful Evie.
Hi everyone.
Now, maximalist, minimalist, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Depends the day. So I am a cosmetic formulator and a skincare expert. I started my skincare journey from having really bad skin, like most people who love skincare will tell you. weirdly. Loads of us started by having troubles with our skin. And I started by creating a community online of like-minded people, really just wanting to share things that I wish I knew and I wish I had access to when I was younger. So that's what really started my skincare journey. In terms of being a minimalist or maximalist, it depends the day. I think the average person might think I'm a maximalist, but actually, when it comes to things that really work and efficacy, I do believe that actually stripping it back and really understanding what you're putting on your skin and not using 10,000 products is best. So in that sense, I'm a minimalist, but I do love a skincare treatment, which might be extra to some. So yeah, it depends.
I love that. Just depends on the day. Janet, what are you up to when it comes to skincare? And tell the audience a bit about yourself and what you do and your attitude to skincare.
Hi everyone, I'm Janet. I'm a skincare content creator on Instagram. And in terms of whether I'm a minimalist or maximalist, it really depends on my mood. I think on most days, if I'm just focusing on hydration and keeping my barrier together, then minimalist. But on other days, if I just need some luxury treatments and stuff, then I can definitely be a maximalist.
Dr. Fab, as a doctor,
Oh, yep.
tell us your approach. I'm dying to hear it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Kemi. I'm a doctor working just around the corner at UCLH. Right now, I work in the dermatology department and do acne, eczema, psoriasis clinics, and also skin cancer clinics too. And I also make funny videos on the internet, on skincare. In terms of minimalist and maximalist, I've got 5 key steps. So I don't know if that's too much or too little, but I think they're all absolutely key. So I would say I strip it down to just those steps.
I'm hearing a lot of stripped back skincare, which is like music to my ears. But, you know, there's always time for a bit extra. So, Noelly, tell us a bit about yourself, 456, as well as your approach to skincare.
Hello everyone, my name is Noelly. I am the CEO and co-founder of 456 Skin. We started the world first skin research, first skin tone research in France, where we actually study the physiology, the structure, the function of darker skin tones. And what we're really trying to do is to incorporate that into skincare and also looking at the genetic, metabolic, and physiological impacts of your skin tone into your skincare. We just need to make sure that science is inclusive and is working for everyone. And in terms of being a minimalist or maximalist, I think that it's hard for me to choose. I think you can do a lot of damage with minimum skincare, and you can do a lot of damage with maximum skincare as well. So it's really about finding that balance with what works for your skin. I think like everyone here, I started as a maximalist, and all women of color kind of know this process. We go through what we call the struggle discovery, trial and error. We ruin our skins, and eventually we get to learn, and then we scale it back. So I'm a pretty minimalist right now. I have a very high standard when it comes to what I put on my skin, and I keep it simple, effective, and to the minimum. Yeah.
Fantastic. Brilliant. So, Janet and Esther, I'm going to come to you first because I know that you're big beauty and skincare lovers, and we had a conversation already downstairs about the sort of internal side of skincare as well. But over the years, I'll come to you first, Janet, actually. Over the years, what's become your skincare staple? What are your absolute must-have products that you can't live without?
My must-have products, definitely sunscreen. That's something that I feel like I can't go a day without, and I don't think anyone should go a day without.
Does everyone in here use sunscreen?
All your
Can I
hands
get
should
that
be
again?
up.
Does everyone in here?
All
Yeah,
your
okay,
hands should
good.
be
But I
up.
feel like the biggest question is it all year round, summer and winter? I see my people, I see them.
I see a few hands. Okay, good.
Yeah, a good sunscreen, something else I can't live without. A good treatment serum, because I'm either dealing with a breakout or some form of hyperpigmentation, so I need something that's treating my concerns. And yeah, a cleanser. I love a good cleanser.
I think those are 2 key things, actually. I always say, especially for darker skin tones and black women, a pigmentation serum of some description is always going to be key in your routine, and definitely sunscreen. I think we've kind of gotten over that hurdle of you don't need sunscreen if you're black or brown or whatever. I think we're slowly putting that to rest. Esther, what would you say are your absolute must-haves in terms of looking after your skin?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I would think like for me, it's definitely sunscreen. And I only got into like my sunscreen bag like 3-4 years ago. So don't be like me and not use it like at that time. It's so important, whether summer or winter. And mine's a little different.
Okay.
My skincare is not just topical. So there are other things that I do that are like a must for me when it comes to taking care of my skin. But we can talk about that later.
What's one thing you do that is, because I think, yes, a lot of the time when we have any type of skin concern, we're very much like, what product should I be using? What cream, what lotion, what potion? So I think it's very interesting that for you have something else that you do that's not related to anything we apply to our skin. So can you are you okay to tell us just
Oh yeah,
one
absolutely.
thing?
I get my gut flushed out regularly. And I think people are so shy to talk about your gut health. But if you didn't know, your gut health is directly linked to your skin. So if your gut is unhappy, your skin is most likely very unhappy, and that will also show in other parts of your health as well. So I get colonics often. I'm not afraid. She puts it up my booty and we get it all out. And I'm in and out in an hour. But yeah, definitely colonics, and I try to incorporate also greens. So I have a green smoothie every single morning without fail. Cut out coffee. Anyway, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's great you've mentioned that, because it is important. There is an axis. There is the skin health, the skin gut mental axis, where you could be doing so much with your skin, but if you're not actually looking after your body itself, and whether you're inflamed or anything like that, it is going to have an impact on how your skin looks, therefore how you feel about your skin. Evie, one thing I know you're hot on is hyperpigmentation, and you do a lot of work in that area. So I'd love to hear from you and for the audience as well, because hyperpigmentation is a massive bugbear. Who would say that dark marks, pigmentation, uneven complexion is something that bothers them? Okay, a lot of us, me included. Evie, this is your bag. Tell us about hyperpigmentation and the sort of things, ingredients we should be looking out for when we're talking about hyperpigmentation.
So I always say dealing with hyperpigmentation is honestly a lifestyle. Like, it has taken over my life. I build my routine around this because it's something that is just so complex to get rid of and to keep at bay. So in terms of the ingredients you use, I almost think of it like a 3-step approach. And usually you'll see results if you're incorporating at least one ingredient or sometimes a combination within reason. Don't start playing Dexter's Lab in your house now, but within reason, a few ingredients from each category. So first, you really want something that's going to really speed up your skin cell turnover, because what that will do is that will really exfoliate or kind of speed up the natural process of getting rid of those dark marks in your skin. So you want to be looking for an exfoliant or even a retinoid, because that speeds up your skin cell turnover, and an exfoliant will help slough off the dead skin. So that's one category of ingredients. The second category, and these are the real heavy hitters, and this is what you really do need, and actually I'd even go as far as saying if you pick up a hyperpigmentation product and it doesn't have an ingredient in this category, it's unlikely to really do something. So they're called tyrosinase inhibitors, and these are ingredients that really focus on inhibiting excess melanin production. So when your skin is inflamed, when you have a burn, when you have a spot, your skin as a response will produce more melanin, and that's often what leaves you with that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So off the top of my mind, some tyrosinase inhibitors you might want to look at are things like glutathione, kojic acid, azelaic acid, hydroquinone, controversial, but if you're not a hydroquinone fan, then you can look look at alpha-arbutin, which converts to hydroquinone when it's applied onto your skin. Vitamin C, even I would say in combination with some other of those ingredients, that's just a few, so that's one category. And then the final category, I would say, as Janet mentioned, is SPF. So this is something that's going to stop those dark marks getting even darker, because when those UV rays hit your skin, that's what's really going to darken and encourage the melanin production in your skin. And a hot tip is combining vitamin C with your SPF is really good at stopping melanin synthesis, which is what's going to overproduce melanin. So that was a lot. Come talk to me after, but it's on my page somewhere. But these are the 3 categories that you need to look at, and that's a really good way to structure your routine if you want to target hyperpigmentation.
And that's on period. After that. Okay, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but honestly, it is very simple once you get into the hang of it. So, Dr. Fab, I'm going to come over to you. In terms of a skincare routine, what would you say are the basics? What are the core products? When you look at the audience we have, what are the core products you would say are key for us as Black women?
So I would say that all of us should have a 5-step skincare routine, and what we're finding now actually is that a great skincare routine is just as effective as some of the things that you might get in your dermatologist's office. So I would start off with a cleanser to suit your skin type. As soon as you've cleansed, you want to hydrate the skin, so that's with a hyaluronic acid serum, and then you want to use a treatment active. So the treatment active will basically be whatever your skin needs. So if you're dealing with hyperpigmentation, you might want to use a vitamin C. If you're dealing with just textured skin, you might want to use a glycolic acid. And then you want to moisturize, and then at the end you want to use SPF. So it's cleanse, hydrate, treat, moisturize, and SPF. And that's kind of just the baseline skincare routine that we can all implement to suit our skincare goals.
Fantastic. You mentioned glycolic acid, which I know that a lot of people are very apprehensive of using. There's always horror stories, if you like, of using glycolic acid, but you've mentioned it. So do you have any tips in how someone who's using glycolic acid can incorporate that into their skincare in a really safe manner?
Yeah, so definitely in the Black community, there's fears in terms of exfoliating acids. How should we use it? When should we not use it? Glycolic acid is very useful for our skin in terms of inflammatory acne, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, in terms of even just getting rid of textured skin and premature aging as well. So I would say that it's important to use a strength that is compatible with your skin. You want to use the lowest possible strength that will give you the maximum benefit. So if you're getting good results of a low-strength glycolic, there's no need to just step it up to get to a stronger glycolic acid. You can use it once a week, twice a week. You can always combine it with a hydrating active, such as hyaluronic acid. And these are all the things that can help mitigate the strong effects, the strong exfoliating effects of the glycolic acid.
Fantastic. I love that you said if you're getting good results using a low strength, you don't need to step it up necessarily, because a lot of the time I find that when I'm in clinic, a lot of people will say, you know, this is working, but I want you to do the worst now. I want you to do more. And there's this whole conception that the higher the strength of something, the better it is for you, the more you're going to get results, which in many cases, it doesn't work that way. In fact, you end up either inflaming your skin or injuring yourself in some way. So I love that you said that you don't need to move on if it's working. So I'm going to come over to you, Noelly, because you have very specific experience with formulating for Black and brown skin. You have a whole lab. You have a whole lab about it.
You have to create them if they do not exist. You gotta create them.
So what are some of the myths? It's just picking up on the point that Dr. Fab mentioned about, you know, stuff that we tend to think about in the Black community that sometimes has no basis, but we haven't had the education to tell us it has no basis. What are some of the myths and misconceptions that you come across? Maybe just give us a couple, and how they need to be combated, or how you're going about combating them.
Oh yeah, where do we start? There's a lot of them out there, a lot of meat. But Just following up of what she was saying, I think we can talk about that strength. And there's a huge myth that we've all grown up with, which is black skin is strong. And this myth really bothers me because it kind of reminds me of the black woman is strong narrative. Therefore, we can just throw anything and whatever in your skin, right? Here are the sulfates plus the acid. Let's take 5% this plus the 20%, peel it away, exfoliate with beads, and maybe someday you may get the efficacy. This is probably one of the most damaging myths for our skin, and it couldn't be further from the truth because darker skin tones, the 456 skin, as we study them, are actually very sensitive. And this sensitivity comes from one of the unique functions of our skin, which is melanin. We have these little cells we call the melanocytes, which everyone have them, but ours just, they tend to be very robust and very active. They have a lot of melanin to produce, and we can thank them because that's why we have all of these beautiful hues. But melanin today is really being classified as a master antioxidant. It is a protection to our skin, and we should really view melanin as a genetic privilege, right? And so what happened is whenever you antagonize your skin, and it can really be anything. It can be the cold, it can be free radicals from pollution, it can be an ingredient that is too strong, that is too drying. That is going to prompt your melanocyte to think there is an aggression, I need to produce the melanin to protect the aggressed area. And that's how your hyperpigmentation is going to happen. And so inflammation is at the center of it all. And then this narrative of black skin is strong is just leading us to more inflammation and more hyperpigmentation. And that's why we all often stuck into this vicious circle. So if you have black skin, the one thing that you should always run with is be gentle to your skin, protect your genetic privilege. Melanin is a blessing. We should never do anything to antagonize it or let alone bleach it. So that's a big one. Do I have time for a second one? No, and then that's the most important one. If we have to have one, then that's the right one.
But I think that's the great one. I think if you're going to walk out of here with anything, I think that's the great one. Not to be aggressive with the skin in the sort of misconception that the skin is stronger, because it's not. Sabrina, I'm going to come over to you, and then we're going to go over to the audience. I know you love to champion African beauty. A lot of the work you've done is about making ingredients that come from Africa, putting them at the forefront. So can you tell us a little bit about that in terms of showcasing those ingredients and why it's so important to you?
Yeah, there are a couple of reasons. I think initially it was wanting to retake or own a narrative that felt in some way appropriated. And I was saying to people earlier, like, why is baobab a feature of Whole Foods? It's, it's an amazing ingredient across the continent that people have used for, like my mom used to put it in my yogurt as a kid. I didn't know back then how great it was for my skin, but it was a part of the reason I wanted to highlight beauty and its benefits is that ownership kind of story. But also, and as Evie was saying, a lot of the things that we're looking for that fight hyperpigmentation, I would just add that there are antioxidants that can be quite powerful in inhibiting the inflammation that causes hyperpigmentation, and also looking for brands that don't have sensitizing ingredients. I think the antioxidants that we found across the continent, some of them like black seed, are also great anti-inflammatories. Qasl can also be antimicrobial. I mean, natural ingredients can have so much benefit. Obviously, you want to combine that with amazing synthetic ingredients to get the best of both worlds, but I found that highlighting the benefits of these beauty ingredients has been a fantastic part of our journey as a brand, and such good conversation with people who are like, what's Qasl? And I've had such a fun time educating people on how important it is to learn about these ingredients. We see K-beauty get a lot of hype. I mean, A-beauty for the same reason. Ancestral traditions and practices that have really stood the test of time for that reason are just as powerful. And I want to see it get its light. The other problem is we knew when we were formulating that a lot of the ingredients that we wanted to use didn't have the sourcing mechanisms set up or the infrastructure set up, for us to do them the way we wanted to. So we had to single-handedly select farmers that we could source from so that we knew and we could trace back where these ingredients were coming from. The industry is very abusive and people don't talk about that. People don't talk about the shea that you get that, by the way, is in everything. It's not highlighted as an A beauty ingredient, but shea's in your Nivea, is important to know where it's coming from. There are women that are literally dying farming shea for skincare. I think that's horrendous, and I think it's important for us to educate ourselves on the formulators, the labs, the people behind the products. Do the companies care? Are they B Corp? Have they spoken about it? Sourcing is such an important part of the story. So sorry, all of that to say, I think A Beauty is amazing, it's beautiful, it can be really educational, but it's important for us to then educate ourselves and understand not only the benefits, but what it's doing to our planet and our people.
For sure. It's definitely about ownership. So, that was amazing. Thank you. I'm glad that everyone got a chance to actually, get on the mic and talk about the things that we're here to talk about. So, I'm going to pass, we've got 2 roaming mics in the audience. So, we've spoken a lot, but it'd be great to hear your questions, and I'm going to direct them to the most appropriate person in the audience, in the panel to answer. We've got some hands going up. There's one right there, the lady in the white coat. Yeah, there you go.
Hello. Hi, thank you all for being here today. I have somewhat of a controversial question, I guess.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different TikTok trends about skincare, and one that I've been seeing a lot recently is using Black African soap on your face.
Okay.
How do you all feel about that? And yeah, why do you think people are doing that right now?
I mean, I have thoughts, but
I have some thoughts too.
I think we all have thoughts, but I am going to actually send this over to Dr. Fab. Sorry. What are your thoughts about black soap on the face?
I mean, I have always hated black soap, I can't lie. Like, I'm one of those people whose mum, she made me use it, and I just wasn't here for it from back then. So I'm not the best person to ask, but what I will say in terms of soap in general is that it's a detergent. It can be really stripping to your skin, and it can actually progress a lot of your skin conditions, particularly inflammatory skin conditions. So black soap, I'm not an expert, but I would say in general, probably avoid soaps on the face.
Yeah, I would say if you were thinking of using it, don't. Like a lot of TikTok trends in terms of, it's great to start off the conversation. It's great to then be able to go and dig into it, but it's not something you have to think about it yourself as well and think, is it the right thing for you? I'd probably say there are some people who it probably works fine for. There's always going to be that person, right? I always say there's always Sally down the road who nothing ever affects them. They can do whatever they like. And then there's me. I just have to look at the sun and then that's it. So just be mindful. I always say this about all the social media platforms, be mindful. It's a jump off. I would say it's a jump off into a conversation, but it's not necessarily, might not be for you. I see more hands. There's one right there, and the mic is like literally just there.
Hiya. There was a point where I felt that I was trying to really tackle some of the skin issues that I had externally, sought medical help and got things to kind of help things internally. I remember at one point where I was really unimpressed with the texture of my skin, where I would try to exfoliate the spots down and things like that, which was very wild, and sometimes mixing a lot of these products that I'd been given, including retinol and things like that, to the point where I'd get sensitive eyes because there are certain things that you're not meant to mix together without having a proper skincare routine. But in terms of the question is, if there was a skin repair barrier that anyone on the panel would suggest, what would be stripping down obviously all the products and all the ingredients that you use? If you could have a 3-step simple routine, what would you recommend?
I'm gonna, only because I know I've seen you do a lot of talk on skin barrier, Evie. You're looking like somewhere else. But actually, both, I'll start with you, but we can all chime in. I've seen you do a lot of work on skin barrier, and if you could do just like a 5-second, what is the skin barrier and why is it so important? And then we can help our dear friend with a 3-step thing she should consider.
So your skin barrier basically comprises of the things that are on the top layer of your skin, including your skin's microbiome. So that's what has all the good bacteria and sometimes bad bacteria on your skin that you don't want. But all these things basically have a very fine balance from which, if it's thrown off, everything goes to the wind. So I always say to people, if your skin barrier is damaged, it doesn't really matter what you're putting on your skin, it probably won't work. So a lot of the times when products aren't working for people, is your skin barrier damaged? So some signs of a damaged skin barrier is when you put the most delicate product on your skin and it burns. Burning is never a good sign. I don't care what the ordinary peeling solution will tell you. Burning skin is not good. Just extra redness, texture is a really big sign. So unusual texture is a sign that your skin barrier might be damaged. So I frequently damage my skin barrier because it's my job to test so many products, and sometimes I don't have enough of a gap to test things out before I have to do reviews. So I have kind of nailed it down to like a military art form, what to do when I've damaged my skin barrier. So that is choosing a very, very gentle cleanser. So read your cleansers, please. A lot of people are unknowingly exfoliating 5 times in their routine, and often it's because they're using a cleanser that's an exfoliating cleanser and they don't know it. So something gentle, something that doesn't have exfoliants, retinols, to cleanse your skin. It doesn't have to be foaming, but it can be foaming if that's what you like. And then choose a product. So this could be a serum, it could be a moisturizer, something that really has products that will repair your skin barrier. So I really like ingredients like ceramides. They mimic some of the natural oils on your skin and they're really good for your skin barrier. Hyaluronic acid can be very good for your skin barrier to really replenish that hydration. Oils like squalane, again, things that are really similar to the natural oils that occur on your skin and really can fight inflammation, can be really good for your skin barrier. And then finally, I would say always use your SPF. The sun will inflame your skin if it's not protected. That is not good for your skin barrier. So those kind of 3 steps is what I follow.
Anyone else got anything to add? Sabrina, Noelly? Yeah? Do I see any more hands? I see a hand right here at the front. There we go, perfect.
Hi, my name is Yvonne, Dr. Eve. I have a skin clinic and I'm a skin doctor. So my question is really, how do we target the misinformation that's in our community? Because I'm very passionate about kind of knocking back a lot of the stuff. So I see people in clinic who bring in a cream and they don't know what's in it. And they've been using it for years and they have no idea what it is. And actually it's been damaging their skin. So how can we target that misinformation and try and educate our people so that we can actually have evidence-backed treatments?
For sure. I mean, I think that's a great question. I mean, there's a whole directory called the Black Skin Directory, which is all about education for our community. So that's a great place to start. I do think that, and I'm actually going to talk about brands. I do think that brands need to lead from an education point of view a lot more than they currently do, because we're not all coming at skincare from the same level. So I do think there needs to be a lot more of that. How it's done, obviously, it's up to the brand, but I think education needs to be the forefront, and bite-sized education as well. So, you know, Sabrina.
Yes.
What's Stable Labs doing about educating us?
I think you're so right. And actually, one of the things I learned early on as a brand founder, it's about that community building aspect. It's about speaking to people as often as you can, facilitating venues and events and spaces for people to come together in conversation is a really big part of it. This is a crucial part of it, so thank you so much to the people who put this together. You've probably seen Donna in her green sequins running around. But I think it's important to come together. I was speaking to an amazing brand founder earlier, talking about what we can do together to create more forums and spaces for people to learn and educate themselves, because you're right, there is so much misinformation. I am still tackling some misinformation, thinking like, do I really need that eye cream? Like, no. And I think the marketing is a big root cause of that. I think people shout at us at the top of their lungs, buy this, buy that, try this, try that. And also, you know, you really do need to try things for yourself. What works for one person won't necessarily work for you. So I think we are our best combatants against misinformation. Just because someone says it works, use a skeptical eye, do some research. A lot of the things that I learned are actually things you can just Google.
for sure.
You know, I'm older. Maybe I don't use TikTok to Google, but I just use Google to Google. And I still learned a lot that way. And you know, I was telling you I graduated as an esthetician now. Like taking on courses and avenues that you can further your education around skin. It's just so
I mean, not
important.
everyone's going to be able to do that, but from your point of view, it's great that you know a little bit more about skin, that you can then educate your audience.
Yes,
but Janet and Esther, being content creators, what's your approach? You know, I know a little bit about how it works in terms of, you know, you're approached by a brand and you're deciding what brand to work with, how to do it, blah, blah, blah. What's your approach to content creating that then educates your audience? Because I think that's a part of it as well, that we do have a lot of content online. I know people who use TikTok because of their age. They use, say, TikTok or Instagram as their search platform now, where I'd be like, Google is your friend. For a lot of people, it's like, no, TikTok is where I go for information. Clients will tell me that. So when you're putting together your content, what are the things you think about in terms of how it's going to be received and what education you're providing? Or does it not matter?
Oh, it matters. I think for me, because a lot of my videos are quite like aesthetic, it's just like my routine. I think before I put out my content, I'm always grounded in that, okay, this routine that I'm putting together, I know this definitely works for me. And also, I'm not going to do a routine and put it out that I feel like would destroy my skin barrier and destroy others. So I feel like it's being grounded in this is definitely what I feel like is okay and works, and then putting that out there. But also, again, that caveat that this is what works for me. This isn't like, you know, exactly what I think everyone else should be doing or what you should do. But these are just the guidelines that work, and, you know, it's okay if you do want to try it, because at the end of the day, skincare is trial and error. But again, yeah, just being grounded that this is genuinely what I feel is okay to do and putting that out there.
So, Esther, do you feel a responsibility to provide education when you're doing content?
No. And
I like that.
I'll just be very real. My responsibility is what is with one pick-me and one pick-me only at the moment. No, but when I say no, I mean, I feel like it's really important. I am a big research person. If I'm going to do anything, I will research the heavens and the earth because I want the best information for myself. And then maybe I'll go and speak to somebody that I know has been through the same thing. But a lot of the time, I'm just going to research. And I'm also... My manager's sitting here. We have conversations a lot when brands approach me to do skin stuff like content around skincare and healthcare. And a lot of the time we're like, no, because I'm going through such a journey with my skin. I don't then want to present a piece of content for the bag, as great as it might be that Coco can get some new trainers. But like, I don't want to present a piece of content that I know is a lie because it's not working for my skin. So a lot of the time we'll sit down and be like, actually, no, we're going to turn this down because Esther has got a strict routine because she's dealing with adult acne and because she's going through this journey. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure that my skin is good before I like present a piece of content. And like I always say to my son, and I'll say this here as well, like research and read. Take the time to read things. I know like we are in a generation whereby everybody wants like quick content. Everybody wants the 5-second, 10-second reels, 30-second TikToks. They just want to kind of see it go and swipe to the next one. But just take your time. Go on YouTube, digest long-form content with people who are, you know, educational, like Evie, and doctors that are sitting here. You know, take your time to speak to clinicians and practitioners and have these conversations and go back and research some more and then go through the process and see what does work for you so you can eliminate the ones that don't. So you're not wasting your money, time, effort, and you're not damaging your skin barrier, you know. And always do what works for you. Always do what works for you. And I think that's kind of what has got me to where I am now with my skin, because I was using so many products that were just messing up my skin. And on top of that, I was still getting acne. So I say all that to say, research.
Yeah. No, I think that is a very important point. Like sometimes, you know, I'll be on, like I'm not allowed to like do social media for Black Skin Directory anymore because apparently my clapback is too much. But you know, there's that whole tag that's like TL standing for too long, DR didn't read, and I'm like, it's a 22nd article. It's, like, we also do have to take personal responsibility for our own doing the research, reading the things and asking the right question. We do have to do that as well, because otherwise we're not going to get anywhere.
Can I just say, if you haven't followed Dija on Threads, that's a good time. Please follow.
Threads is where I go to download my real thoughts. I see a few hands there. There's one right there with the cream. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for to all the speakers. I've got a somewhat unusual question. It's actually about nails, if that's okay. I'm just conscious that I get my nails done repeatedly without a break. I think I've been doing that for about a year. Gel manicures. And I'm just thinking, actually, do we need to be considering like harmful effects to our skin, getting our nails done repeatedly?
You mean from the UV lamp?
Yeah, from the UV lamp. And do you have any comments about that?
I'm going to go to that side of the panel.
Yeah, so great question. So our nails are so important, particularly in dermatology clinic. We see a lot of nail changes that are consistent with things like skin cancers, that are consistent with onycholysis, which is where your nail separates from the bed. There's lots of different things that can go wrong with the nails, and we don't really do enough kind of informational content about it. Skin cancers. Oh, sorry. But yeah, you can get skin cancers in the nail. You can also get fungal nail infections. You can get acrylic nail syndrome. So when you're constantly doing acrylics again and again, you're weakening the nail bed. And for me, if I do acrylics, it takes me 6 months for my nails to like heal. So it's not, it's not the one. So definitely space out your acrylics. Make sure that you're moisturizing your hands. In terms of like getting your cuticles cut back, tell them no. My nail person does it every single time anyway, and I'm like too scared to tell her, so I just stay silent. But but it's really bad. You can get nail infections as well. So.
What about the UV gloves? Well. Because there's a lot of talk recently about UV lamps actually sort of instigating or propagating cell changes. So what about the use of UV? I'm pretty sure I've seen a few UV gloves coming my way on the internet.
There is definitely a theoretical risk if you're using any form of direct UV light to your nail beds. A lot of them are LED lights, but I mean, there is a theoretical risk. What I used to do is wear SPF before I went into the nail salon, but what your nail technician will tell you to do is wash your hands so that they can do it. So you can wear nail gloves. It is a theoretical risk. It's just important to know about it. Space out your acrylics, space out your nails. Sessions as much as possible to maintain good health. What I will say also is that you can get, for black skin in particular, if we are to get skin cancers, they can sometimes occur on the nails, and I don't think we know how to check our body the way that other groups do, because we don't have that much information. So if you've got a pigmented stripe on your nails, this is a sign. It's just important to know what to check. Bob Marley, he died of a skin cancer on his nail, so it's just something to look out for.
To beware, for sure. There is a question right at the front here. The lady with the glasses. Sorry, I'm pointing. I shouldn't be pointing. There.
Hi, my name is Miriam. I just wanted my question is directed to Esther and Dr. Fab. It's just expanding on detox, and obviously the healthier way to do it. When it comes to things like fasting, or when it comes to things like cutting out meat or dairy, because sometimes when we do those things, we don't do it properly, and it can also affect our skin and our gut or our health. So what are like the proper ways to do detox that is not damaging, and you're seeing benefits to your health, but also your skin?
Okay. I'm going to let only because you've got a sort of medical angle to your question, it's incumbent on me to ask Dr. Fab to answer that first, and then Esther can give her personal experience as well.
Yeah, so in terms of our body, just kind of there is a gut-skin axis, and so if you're in a pro-inflammatory state, That's not going to be good for your skin. It's not going to be good for you in general. What I would say is to know your triggers. So if you're someone that reacts to dairy, gluten, these are things that you can easily cut out of your diet. Interestingly, if you go into like the research or the journals, they will tell you that there's not so much of a link between things like acne and your diet, but we know ourselves and we know that if you eat greasy foods all day, every day, if you eat for some people dairy, this can actually have an impact on your skin. So I would say know your triggers, avoid your triggers, and also just try to live a general healthy lifestyle. So all of the kind of generic things, green leafy vegetables, fish rich in omega fatty acids, these things will help your overall body and make you more resilient, and so will make your skin more resilient.
For sure. Esther, I know you've been on a whole journey, and that's included a lot of doing gut work as well.
Yeah.
How did you what steps did you take to go down that road?
So I've recently incorporated colonics as part of my beauty routine, I suppose, as part of my skincare journey. And I try and get those like once every 2-3 months maybe. And if I travel, I try and get those as soon as I can when I come back, because I know I tend to binge and stuff when I go away. I have cut out dairy from my diet. I've cut out red meat from my diet.
Did you do that with the nutritionist, with the
I
professional?
did. So I did that after I had an intolerance test done about 6 years ago. So I've also cut out a lot of like sugary drinks. Recently cut out coffee. But the thing about me is I'm very, like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So if I haven't drank Coca-Cola in like 12 years, just because I'm like, I'm going to cut that out, and I've literally cut it out. And that's just from doing research and knowing what my body doesn't like. So from the intolerance test, I was able to cut out a lot of like those food groups from my diet, as well as the colonics. And we spoke about using like vitamin C on your skin. I get vitamin C injections, so it's more potent, and it's definitely going to go directed to your body, and it's going to do exactly what vitamin C will do topically, but internally. So you see a brightness in your skin, and not just like your face, but your whole body. As well as vitamin D as well, because in the winter, as you know, we don't get enough vitamin D from the sunlight because we barely get any sunlight in the winter months. So I make sure I incorporate those things as well. I'm not the healthiest person. I have a very bad kind of relationship with food, because I could eat one meal a day and that could be me for the day. But I'm not saying do the same thing. I'm just saying I have found what works for me in those other avenues, aside from topical, so creams, serums, cleansers, things like that. I'm focusing on the internal, and I think it's really, really important to like go and speak to somebody about your gut health, because we can store up to 15 kg of waste in our body, and that's like a EasyJet baggage. So imagine carrying an EasyJet baggage in your gut, like day in, day out, and there's no other natural way to flush out this waste other than a colonic hydrotherapy. So even though you might poop twice a day, you still have up to 15 kg of waste in your body. And imagine having 15 kg of waste of poop in your living room. What damage that can do in terms of like the smell, and it's toxic waste. So imagine that just sitting in your body, what that could do to your skin. So this is a sign to go and speak to somebody about colonic hydrotherapy, or go and book one, because it's so important. Don't be shy. Everybody has a gut, everybody produces waste, and we have to get it out somehow.
Brilliant. I think the main thing we take away from that is definitely there is a link between the skin and the gut, and also most importantly to speak to a professional before, as a medical professional, before you cut things out, add things in, to make sure you're doing things in a safe manner that works for you. I can't emphasize that enough about the need to see a medical professional before these things are done. I think, how much more time? I can see 3 hands. Are we good for time? Fab. Fab. Do you know, I'm going to come over to this side because we've only taken one question from this side. Did I see a hand shoot up? There, lady in the white.
Hi, my name's Ashley, and I've just started using actives for my skin to combat hyperpigmentation. And I know that you need to apply sun SPF every couple of hours during the day. But my question is for the people that wear makeup like every day, some form of makeup to cover that hyperpigmentation. What tips do you have on applying it? Is everyone like going to the bathroom and taking the makeup off and applying this SPF? Or is there like some sort of tip that you can give to apply that sunscreen throughout the day?
I've got an answer. Sorry, I think you guys are probably better suited, but I know that Kate Somerville have an SPF setting spray. So if I think I've used it once or twice, but you could look into it and see if that's something you want to try. But I use SPF 50 always, every day, all time. Doesn't matter whether it's 1 degree or 30 degrees outside.
What we like to hear.
I just
Definitely.
use 50 as like my standard. But Kate Somerville, they have a SPF setting spray that you can use on top of your makeup.
Any other tips for? Yeah, Janet?
Same. I use a spray from reapplying, or sometimes I get my beauty blender and I get my sunscreen and pat it on, and then like pat it on top of my makeup, and that works fine. Or sometimes powders as well work. There's SPF powders that are really good that actually work, and they're quite invisible as well.
Yeah, Colour Science do a powder,
Colour
right?
Science as well. And
Supergoop.
Supergoop do some as well. Yeah, Supergoop. Yeah.
Sorry. So the powder that you mentioned.
Yes.
What brand is it?
Colour Science.
Colour Science.
Colour Science. Okay, yeah.
And then there's also Supergoop.
Okay. Thank you.
I think there needs to be more.
There needs to be more, though.
There needs to be more. There needs to be more tinted, because I think the iron oxide also helps with protection as well. We've been trying to make one a long time. You know that.
Do you
hard.
have a sunscreen, Noelly?
Working on it.
Sunscreen is
feel
very
your pain.
hard to formulate.
It's a tough. It's a very complex issue, and I mean, this is probably going to sound controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. When it comes to sunscreen, and it pertains specifically to black skin, it's important that we protect our skin against the sun. We're not completely protected by our melanin, but we do need sun energy for our skin metabolism to function properly. And that becomes so much more important when we live in countries like the UK, where the sun plays hide and seek the entire year. It is true, your skin metabolism slows down, the skin becomes sluggish, your natural exfoliation system slows down. There's so many implications from us not having sun energy. We are people with melanin. Our ancestors evolved under, climates where there is the sun, there is humidity. So I think that we need to come to a place of balance when it comes to sunscreen, and really get to the point where we are telling the community, obviously, sunscreen is important, but for your skin and even your overall health to function properly, for your metabolism to be effective, you need some form of sun energy. So how do you do that? When do you protect yourself? When can you allow yourself to go out without protection? If you go out for 10, 15 minutes, is it okay to not wear your sunscreen? But if you know you're going to be exposed for over 20 minutes, then maybe we need to start thinking about protection. And the idea of wearing sunscreen during winter time when we have absolutely no sun energy is, these are just debates that we're starting to have now, so that we can come to that place of balance. Or do I actually need to block that little bit of sun energy that I may be getting during winter time when there's no sun there? So it's a debate,
For sure.
We have not quite agreed on how to handle this. I just want to make it very clear that sun energy, it's important, and it's part of skin health and overall health. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a very important debate, and whilst there's no definitive answer yet, the fact that a lot of the current available research we have does point to the need for sunscreen or supplementation with vitamin D. if needed. And I think where we have a young population that's getting used to the idea of wearing sunscreen, where there's been so much misconceptions and also mismanagement of, for example, being left out of the education in the first place, I think we have a responsibility to be careful how we bring in nuances to the debate, because we're just about getting that train out the station at the moment. And if we pull back on that and have lots of nuances coming through, it then confuses the general public in what they should be doing. So our current UK rules are supplement in the winter time where there's with vitamin D, but definitely sun energy as a whole is part of our health that we need to take into consideration. Do we have any more questions? Oh. 2 more. We can do 2 more questions. There's someone dying over here. Literally. Literally, we're going to take one here and then we're going to go over there. I promise.
Firstly, actually, my hand went higher because of this young lady, which I've just met. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for an incredible panel. My name is Samira. I have a fun question. What did you guys do for fun that had a positive indirect effect on your skin?
Girl, can I say it?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to
That's a
say
great
it?
question.
Say it.
Are we all above 21?
What do you do for fun outside?
It's outside. Starts with S, ends with...
Do you know what? Let's just go round, starting with you, Noelly.
Oh, I love that question so much, because often we really forget that, you know, skincare comes in stages. Your skin health is about the product you use, it's about your lifestyle, what you eat, but it's also about your mental health, how you feel. And literally science is showing us today that having too much stress, for example, is going to raise the cortisol levels in your body, and that can create inflammation, that can lead to, hyperpigmentation and all the issues. And really creating these moments of well-being, starting with how you celebrate your skin, how you thank it for being an amazing platform for information, for being an amazing guardian and telling you what's going on inside and outside, and just celebrating yourself. And so the way I do this, since I've sort of understood that skincare goes beyond just product, I don't know, it's an everyday thing. It's just singing, for example, just humming, just the hum, and science is showing us the importance of the hum. Breathing exercises, doing what we call in Kundalini, the breath of fire. That is literally going to oxygenate all your cells. It's going to make you happy, and it's going to make your skin happier. It's enjoying my food. I don't know, some wine and champagne, that may be controversial, but that's part of the
not
happiness.
controversial at all.
Yeah, it's like simple things of life, and just going out, in a walk, taking a walk in the forest. That's going to oxygenate your skin and just make you happy and give you great skin. So the little things, like skincare goes beyond products, and they're the little things that we do every day in life, in celebrations of who we are, and in I call it a radical passion for ourselves and radical love for ourselves. That's part of skin health and skincare too.
Dr. Fab.
So I've started making skincare videos on my social media page, which has been lots of fun, and I've learned so much through that, and also got a lot of free stuff, which has been nice and has been beneficial for my skin. So I would say, yeah, getting that chance to make videos online.
I let that man go, and I slept for 48 nights. And my skin flourished from then.
And your skin has thrived since. Evie, what do you do for fun that impacts your skin?
So it doesn't sound fun, but it is. But I love doing reformer Pilates because it de-stresses me. It's so good. Like being folded like a pretzel, in not that way, is really good. And also just like minding my business. I think that's underrated.
Oh.
Just mind your business is better. Don't take on people's stress. Get the stress down, the cortisol, like you were saying, down. Yeah, it works.
Mind the business that pays you. I always say that.
I done told y'all mine. Like to get on top of somebody or somebody on top of me. No, seriously, I don't know if there's a direct scientific link, but I am sure that, like, can I say it? My manager, I'm looking at my manager like, can I say it? Is it gonna ruin my brand? No, but I just feel like as a woman, and I've got to the age where I just need to be a lot more freer with myself, but having great sex, for me, helps my skin. When I feel good, it looks good.
What are we doing for fun, Sabrina?
I feel like I should retire my mic after that. I'm just what?
Is that a mic drop moment?
I'll drop it for you. Like
you will?
I'm gonna sound so boring right now. I'm so Canadian. I just love friends and family, and for me, that's what de-stresses me. Aw, thanks, guys. No, but just hanging out with my mom is for a lot of people that's a stressor, but for me, it's a big de-stressor. She's like my best friend, so.
The lady with her hand up, and this is going to be our final question.
I feel bad now.
I think I can only take one more.
Yes. After me, her. So just on the topic of, because we spoke about like gut health and cutting out dietary, I guess, foods that would help with your skin. But like, where does like hormonal balance come into play? Because that's where I've really struggled, and I've had like a really strict regimen as well in terms of, you know, going by the cleanse, moisture, treatment, and SPF. But that still hasn't like succeeded. And then I do see other people that don't really cut out like things in terms of like foods, and they have like the perfect skin. And it's gotten to a point where now I've actually had to go into antibiotics, or not antibiotics, but like a stronger medication. So I think the one I'm taking is called spironolactone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's my question. Like, how do you know when to seek more professional help? Like, I had to go to a dermatologist and they told me I should go on medication. Like, how do you know it should get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, there is a point at which you can be doing the most with your sort of topical skincare and your diet and all of that. I know when I have clients like that and we're doing everything, the next step is definitely to see a dermatologist, because there are some things that it's medicine that's going to help with it. I also think there is a point of not comparing. There's always going to be someone who's, like I say, Sally down the road, like literally, they do everything and they're absolutely fine. There's a genetic component to skin that's massive. So there needs to be that crossover between you're doing your skincare, you're doing the things you're supposed to do, you've got some meds, you also have that peace of mind and mental health to know that you are you, and you may have a few more things to deal with when it comes to skin to keep it under control. So it's all an interplay, really. Do you have conversations like this, I imagine, in hospital or with your patients?
Yeah, so if you have like large nodules or cystic acne, or the type of acne that leaves behind scarring or hyperpigmentation, you want to definitely get an idea if this has kind of been driven hormonally. Things that we give, spironolactone we love giving, particularly for patients that might have, we prefer giving spironolactone than isotretinoin or Accutane because it's got less side effects. It's also better for people's mental health and things like that. So it's a really effective medication with topical treatment as well. So keep going with it. It's really useful.
Can we take a last question? One more. This is it. Make it a good one.
This is the power of being persistent. Okay. So I'm a holistic esthetician, and I really love everything that was shared today, and I believe in an inside-outside approach to skin, that it's not all about the inside, and it's not also all about the outside, it's both, because your skin faces inside and outside. So as we are a room of women, and I guess this is more a medical inclined question, could you speak a bit about some of the ingredients that we need to be aware of, especially as we go into our childbearing years? Some ingredients are not safe during pregnancy, 40% of pregnancies are unplanned. and some ingredients are highly allergenic. So could you speak to some of the things that, where there's maybe been previous controversy around, like parabens and things like that?
Yeah,
I'll let you do the
we
medical
can,
thing.
definitely. I am going to, so for example, I might start with Evie on this, only because the word paraben always sticks out to me, because there is nothing wrong with parabens. It's a preservative.
That's very controversial.
Yeah, you can say that, but on the
Debatable,
whole,
that's
there
very
isn't.
debatable.
I would say. So Evie is a formulator who's doing this in the lab all the time.
Yes, so this is literally like the bane of my life, and I agree it is controversial. So just to touch on what you said originally, obviously we know retinoids you can't use during pregnancy. The reason is it's really hard to test ingredients on pregnant women. So there are loads of things that if they cannot be safely tested on pregnant women, they will just say, do not use this thing when you're pregnant, for one. Things like parabens, surfactants, sulfates, things that are often, seen as maybe not so good for you. I would just say, as somebody that spends a lot of time looking at regulations, I would be very, very careful when it comes to demonizing a whole group of things, because what you need to realize is that, yes, I think there is research for either way, but there are ingredients and things that have been tested for years and years and years to test their safety. And what you sometimes, not often, not with all brands, but brands that are taking things out of their products because they're maybe deemed as unsafe and putting other things in, these other things have not been tested as rigorously and they're newer. So it's almost like pick your poison. Personally, me, I'm a Capricorn moon. I like going for like what is tried and tested. But again, it's really about what you prefer and what rings true to you, because I know that there are a lot of people who do have issues around using sulfates and would rather not use parabens. But I think just be aware that there are products and there are regulations for a reason. And skincare brands, by and large, aren't out to kill you because they would make no money. So just be careful sometimes and use a bit of discretion when taking in information about things being good and bad.
Can I just add to that for a second? Just very quickly, I think also being in the UK is a blessing in that regard. I think, the UK is really, really critical of ingredients and formulations for those reasons. So we already have a leg up in that sense when trying to pick and choose. So just keep in mind where you're buying something from. Different regulations are different in different places. And I totally agree. Just because something is categorized as bad, I don't think it means that every single thing like it is a villain. Like, I think alcohol is a big problem. Like, there are drying alcohols, but there's lots of great alcohols and products. So people turn bottles now and go, oh, there's an alcohol in it, without understanding. There's much more nuance.
Yeah, for sure. Noelly, you formulate as well.
I want to add to that because my attitude all of it is a lot more radical. And I think that we have a very beautiful and a powerful industry. Manufacturers and brands make a lot of money from the industry. And so my point is, if we're saying this industry is driven by innovation, surely we can make sure that biocompatibility is at the forefront of what we do. And for me, and this is just my personal formulation philosophy, if there is a lot of research that's been out there for years, pointing out certain ingredients and saying these ingredients that may, for me, again, it's sufficient for me not to use it. And my attitude is, I would not use it until you are 100% proven not problematic for people. And when we talk about parabens, we talk about phenoxy and all of these other ingredients, and especially for young women, and we see the research saying that these may interfere with the reproductive capabilities later. And my thing, that's just my personal conscience, is I would never, because I use these products, my younger cousins use them. We've got young girls as a younger, 11, 12, using 4, 5, 6. I would never put myself in a position where I am questioning, am I doing right by them or wrong by them? So there are other ways that we can create preservatives. Yes, it is a pain, it is more expensive, but for me, biocompatibility and making sure that what you are putting on people's skin is in any way going to antagonize their skin health or their overall health. But that's just my point of view, and I don't really get into the whole debate of is it good, is it bad, but we have the evidence that say it may be, then I just stay away from it in my formula. So that's it.
definitely.
And then there's the food we eat, the water, the TV, the cell phone. You know, so it's
there's
important
a lot
to-
of things that
yeah.
we're doing, right? I definitely think there's enough room within the skincare industry. It's massive. There's lots of products. There's enough room for people who have various different personal preferences to basically pick a camp, pick a tribe, and stay within there. So, yeah, you're going to go with what works best for you in your gut and pick a brand that satisfies that. And I think that's one of the great things about the industry is that we have so much on offer.
And
for
go
what
to the
you
Black
want.
Skin Directory. To find
I
out.
mean, there's everything on the Black Skin Directory. We don't take sides, we just present. We just present the information. But I think that's been a fantastic discussion. Can I get a round of applause for this fabulous panel? Likewise, can we get a round of applause for everyone in here? Fabulous. And I think we're going to call that a day. Thank you for coming.